The 563rd day of the war between Russia and Ukraine continues. The Russians deployed units of airborne troops near Robotyne in the Melitopol sector and carried out more than 10 counterattacks in one day, the General Staff reports in its report. The enemy is transferring the most combat-ready units of the airborne troops to this direction and is trying to restore the lost position. Thus, the defense forces in the Robotyne region of the Zaporizhzhia region repelled more than 10 such attempts, the message says. The General Staff clarifies that the Ukrainian armed forces in this direction are moving forward and knocking the enemy out of their positions. In the Melitopol direction, the defense forces continue the offensive operation, inflicting significant losses on the occupation forces in manpower and equipment, forcing the enemy to retreat from their positions, the General Staff reports. Bild military analyst Julian Ropke also reports about the transfer of Russian paratroopers to hold the Zaporizhzhia front. He notes that recently, fighters of the elite 76th Guards Air Assault Division of Russia participated in an attempt to attack Kupiansk in the Kharkiv direction. Now they were transferred to the village of Verbove in the Melitopol area. This is evidenced by the appearance of the latest airborne combat vehicles there. In one video, groups of 8 paratroopers land from them and, under the cover of a smokescreen, occupy houses for defense. Ukrainian telegram channels report that the Ukrainian armed forces managed to advance west and south from Robotyne. Also, according to them, heavy fighting continues near Novoprokopivka and Verbove. Russian telegram channels say that there was no progress between the parties in the Melitopol section. They claimed that the assault actions of the Ukrainian armed forces in the direction of Verbove were repulsed. As I already said, the capture of Verbove is of great importance for further actions in this direction, as it should protect Ukrainian troops from attacks on the flanks. Without this, it is dangerous for the Ukrainian army to develop an offensive south from Robotyne and in the direction of Novoprokopivka, which Ukrainian units bypass from the east, since there is a risk of falling into a firebag due to attacks from the flanks. Meanwhile, the Ukrainian armed forces entered Novo Mayorski in the Berdiansk sector. According to Julian Ropke, a military analyst for the German newspaper Bild, Ukrainian troops advanced north of Novo Mayorski and captured the first 4 houses on the outskirts of the village. Ropke refers to footage published by Russian telegram channels. They, in turn, reported that Ukrainian armed forces appeared yesterday on the northwestern outskirts of Novo Mayorski. At the same time, it is stated that the houses occupied by the Ukrainian army were destroyed by Russian artillery, but Ukrainian units are trying to cling to the outskirts. Novo Mayorski is located on the eastern part of the Vremivka ledge near Velyka Novosilka. The fighting for the village intensified on September 4th. At the same time, Ukrainian troops are advancing in the Bakhmut area. In particular, it is reported that the Ukrainian armed forces are advancing on the southern flank in Klishchiivka and Andriivka. Russian telegram channels also confirm the advance of Ukrainian troops here, noting that Ukrainian armed forces already control most of Klishchiivka, adding that the Russian army is trying to counterattack. Klishchiivka is of great importance for the development of battles, since there are commanding heights from which it is possible to shoot through the area south of Bakhmut. Offensive actions by the Ukrainian armed forces have been going on here since the beginning of May. At the same time, the Russians in their reports today stated that the Ukrainian army, as a result of fierce battles, was able to oust the Russian army from Andriivka. According to them, this is confirmed by the activity of Ukrainian reconnaissance groups north of Vremivka, where detachments of the Ukrainian armed forces and armored vehicles are moving north of the Russian fortified area, which could not have happened if the Russians were present in Andriivka. Let me remind you that the Western Allies advised the Ukrainian troops to reduce their activity around Bakhmut in order to transfer more forces to the strategically much more important southern front, where the offensive is slow. But, judging by the continuation of attacks by the Ukrainian armed forces near Bakhmut and Kiev, if they listened to this advice, it was only partially. In the Svatove sector of the Kharkiv direction, there are battles near Novoiehorivka, where the Russians are attacking a key height to control the village. Ukrainian telegram channels report that the Russians managed to take several positions near the height. And Russian telegram channels claim that Ukrainian troops have been knocked out from a key height, but the Russians themselves have not entered it. At the same time, the Ukrainian command declares that Russia has created a shock fist for a breakthrough in the Novoiehorivka area. The enemy, through all his forces at Novoiehorivka, made a strike fist in this direction. We are doing everything to prevent them from breaking through. They are collecting units from the remnants of previously defeated formations. Even signalmen are being transferred to attack aircraft. The main emphasis is on manpower, the speaker said. Eastern Group of Troops Yevlash. Friends, preparing these daily reports has become my full-time job. If these reports are important to you, please click the like and subscribe buttons. Also, if you want to support my work, if possible, financially, you can find the links in the description under the video. Thank you very much and see you in the next video.